Hello and welcome to our Q2 2016 market update, live from my living room. If you hear a dog bark, it's because Bailey is parked right in front of my feet. She wanted to be a part of this. So first let me do a little whining. This job is hard. The past 18 months, you most likely didn't make any money unless you took large risky bets. The top 10% of the S&P 500 stocks, they made money, but nearly all the other stocks were down, and areas like energy were down over 40%. So as advisors, we were happy to only be down a few percent. Not losing money during times like this is really the name of the game. So in my opinion, 2013, it was a year to easily make money or potentially make money. Everyone was up, and then in 2014, asset allocation didn't work because the dollar was rising so much and so fast. Then in 2015, we saw a return of volatility and the markets were down for the first time really in a while. Oh, and before I talk about 2016, let me first enlighten you with a small joke that I think's funny that I used at a seminar recently that I hosted. So, analysts, economists, and weathermen are all like cross-eyed javelin throwers. Why, you ask? Because they never hit their mark, but they always get the crowd's attention. You're welcome for that one. So take the following for what it's worth. That's what I'm saying here. Is this another 2008? This is really a question and the biggest fear and concern that I've heard from nervous investors over the past year. Typically, anytime you have a major bear market, according to JP Morgan, one of the four horsemen must be present. So what do I mean by four horsemen? This is a recession, a spike in commodities, an aggressive Fed, and extreme valuations. So we aren't in a recession, we certainly don't have commodity prices spiking, and we don't have an aggressive Fed. Yes, here in the US, valuations are a little bit frothy, but they're certainly not extreme. So then I would conclude, knowing that, again, that I could be one of these cross-eyed javelin throwers, so take it for what it's worth, that this is not a 2008. However, I do feel that 2016 is going to continue to be a volatile year and all over the place, especially as we struggle for growth and growth begins to slow down globally. And we also have nothing short of a Saturday Night Live skit, otherwise known as our presidential election. Who would have thought Trump and Clinton out of 350 million people in this country? So I've been told I'm not allowed to discuss politics on these videos because last time I went over 15 minutes. So I'll digress, but just know that I'm biting my tongue and it's killing me not to talk about it. So moving on. What do you do as an investor in light of all of this? In my opinion, we can easily determine that bonds, cash, and CDs are almost paying nothing, which makes it hard to get potential gains in a balanced portfolio unless investors put all their money in stocks, which we typically don't suggest because that could expose you to a lot of risk if there's another 2008. So what we've been doing is making sure that we have almost double US stocks over international and also overweighting large cap dividend paying stocks with the goal to really hold a little extra on the equity side, but also make sure that we're in the less volatile areas, if that makes sense. So basically, we're looking for any way that we can get some return without increasing the risk too much in a portfolio. So in the 80s and 90s, investors would plan off a 10 to 12% return assumptions, and bonds back then were getting 5 to 6%, which made it pretty easy. Then 2000 to 2010 was known as the lost decade, where the S&P basically returned a big fat zero. So now I'd say we're in this environment where 4 to 6% return assumptions are more realistic. So remember, why take unnecessary risk and go after 12% returns if you don't need 12% to meet your goals? All right, that wraps it up for this quarter. Stay tuned for next quarter, as I will likely by then have to talk about politics. I won't be able to contain myself. Enjoy your family, focus on the things you can control, ignore the media as much as you can. Remember, life is short and precious. And money, while it's important, it certainly isn't everything. Thank you.